Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and a couple days ago I made a video where I talked about I give up. I give up trying to actually help somebody out of not getting scammed on the internet. Mostly because when it comes to cryptocurrencies, a lot of people still fall for the most basic scams and deceptions out there. Now before we get into it, I'm not somebody that's against bitcoins or cryptocurrencies or any of that. As somebody that loves the cutting edge of technology, I love this technology. I love cryptocurrency. I think the technology is pretty cool. I think that having digital currency that cannot be, counterfeited, I think a lot of the stuff that's so transparently out there on the blockchain is some pretty cool technology. Unfortunately, because of a lack of regulations and a complete invasion by absolute, scumbags, the actual technology has been overtaken by some very negative connotations. I'm not here to spread fear, uncertainty, or doubt, otherwise known as FUD. I'm just here to straight up tell you that as amazing as this technology is, it's filled with a lot of douchebags around it. Now, chief douchebag here is Sam Bankman-Freed. Now, for those of you who don't know, quick recap. In the last week, FTX, which is one of the top 3 crypto exchanges, completely went bankrupt, and the entire crypto market as a whole went towards a downturn, because when you have one big exchange fail like this, it can absolutely set the whole course of crypto back, not just months, straight up years, okay? Now in this case, a lot of bad stuff has happened. Ever since I made that video, there's apparently been a hack. Oh boy, a computer hack. Now, for anybody wondering, Sam Bankman-Freed's FTX, who was the CEO of FTX formerly, that suffered a massive hack just hours after their bankruptcy Chapter 11 filing. And it wasn't just a small hack. We're looking at something to the tune of 515 million. I've seen numbers go up as high as 600 million. Now, of course, when I see numbers like this, it's time for us to do the actual, check ourselves, understand what actually happened. Now, the real doom and gloom of this scenario was this one message put out by the administrators of FTX's Telegram chat. Now, allegedly, this one was saying FTX has been hacked. All funds seem to be gone. FTX apps are malware. Delete them. Chat is open. Don't go on FTX site as it might download Trojans. It's funny looking at some of the Twitter.com accounts like Zach Vol, and then you got Autism Capital. Rumored that an FTX hack is ongoing. So from what I've understood, both FTX and in some case even FTX US have apparently been hacked. Wallets associated with FTX saw roughly 266 million worth of outflows on November 11th. Alongside FTX US, a separate entity operating in the United States, was reportedly drained of 73.4 million. Now, when it comes to things like hacks, all right, one thing that I have to question is how is it that two separate entities, okay, even if they are, I guess, FTX and then FTX US, how is it that they both got hacked at the same time? You think two separate entities should have, theoretically two separate security practices applied to them. How are they really separate entities then? I just have to ask, all right? Simple as that. It's just really weird when one site just gets hacked hours after their Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but it's very questionable and definitely raises some eyebrows when two separate entities get hacked pretty much at the same time. Now, you had other accounts that were basically telling us a day later reports of SMS messages and emails being sent to FTX customers to log on to their app and websites, which are infected with a Trojan as part of the hack. FTX has millions of users. Things are about to get a lot worse. Even the chief security officer of Kraken, Nick Percoco, said, "We know the identity of the user." Then why don't you just say it? All right, why don't you tell us? Why don't you do something? If you know who the person is, why are we not saying anything? Anyways, let's get back to it. So we decided to use Nansen AI, which for those of you who don't know, we used this whenever we looked at crypto scammers in the past. Nansen AI allows us to actually look through the blockchain and actually tabulate a lot of these outflows, inflows. It basically makes the data a lot clearer to read and easier to track. Now, in this case, you can actually look at the token flow, again, by the exchange. So you can see FTX, all right, and FTX US both saw outflows of $266 million. In 24 hours, by the way, on that specific day, I think it was the 11th, and then you saw FTX US also lose $75 million in the outflows. Some of the transactions that we saw on the 12th of November was, for instance, 45.8 million FTT token, so around 106 million US dollars being transferred to these like random accounts. And again, this is from like FTX's account all the way over to these like rando accounts. So you can see like this one, OXD8, if we actually open that one up over here, the money just comes in and goes out. Now, the wallet that we're looking at where a lot of this money flew into, to the tune of $339 million, which is where the net worth is sitting, almost $340 million. What was interesting about FTX's token in this situation is that this account, of course, on Etherscan is listed as an actual heist account. Now, the thing about actual accounts being hacked, whenever you have cryptocurrency that's hacked, typically what will happen over here is that money is just going to be put somewhere in an account, and all the eyes in the world are going to be watching those specific accounts. It's why you've had some of the largest Bitcoin hacks in the world, some of the largest heists, and that money has slowly been drained out, simply because when you have all these new tools, all this way of crypto analysis tool, all these new crypto analysis tools in general, and you have a lot of people watching, like federal agencies, watchdog groups, getting money out of a crypto account is very, very difficult. You can either do it very piecemeal, no matter how much you transact. Let's say you send $1 or $100 million. Every single one of those transactions is always on the blockchain. You could just have that money sitting around doing nothing, or you could throw that money into like mixing tools like Tornado Cash. But even then, a lot of those tools and their value to the community is slowly dwindling as we're catching up, analyzing these tools and analyzing the outflows of all this currency. Again, with cryptocurrency, thankfully the blockchain does allow us to at least perceive every single transaction that can happen. So even if you steal $1 million, and we all know where the $1 million is sitting, like we do in this case, getting that money out can be the biggest challenge you face. Now, there's a lot of assumptions where like this money was sent maybe to consolidate everything for something as part of a bankruptcy, the Chapter 11 that they were going through. But of course, it's really weird how all of this happened just hours after their actual bankruptcy. Now, look, at the end of the day, all right, I'm not saying that if FTX is lying about the hack or if they aren't, okay? I'm not here to make a 100% statement. There's a good chance they probably were hacked, and there's a lot of people who have legitimate claims and legitimate grievances, legitimate questions to ask. Again, like I said earlier, it's really weird how both of their separate divisions got hacked just hours after their Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And of course, both of them got hacked being completely separate entities as well, or they should have been separate entities to begin with. But of course, looking closer into the situation, you could see that even during the bankruptcy situations, FTX's official Twitter account, and no, this is not verified by Twitter Blue. I decided to do the whole check over here. This is verified because it's notable in government, news, entertainment, or another designated category. Per our Bahamian HQ regulations and regulators, we have begun to facilitate withdrawals of Bahamian funds. As such, you may have seen some withdrawals processed by FTX recently as we complied with the regulators. So when they write the words, "we complied with the regulators," what really pisses me off is then the actual regulators, the actual security commission from the Bahamas, comes out and straight up says that they lied. The commission wishes to advise that it has not directed, authorized, or suggested to FTX Digital Markets the prioritization of withdrawals for Bahamian clients. The Commission further notes that such transactions may be categorized as voidable preferences under the insolvency regime, and consequently result in clawing back funds from the Bahamian customers. In any event, the Commission does not condone the preferential treatment of any investor or client of FTX Digital Markets Limited or otherwise. And again, they were strictly talking when they had heard about that tweet in particular. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's wild when we play the he said, she said game and the who lied, who done it, especially when it comes to big financial companies like this. FTX is already facing a lot of conspiracy theories regarding that hack. Them actually being drawn into the crosshairs like this, straight up being told that they are liars, is not a good look in any capacity. Now, FTX, even despite some of the hack, actually mitigated some of the damage by changing or migrating some of the remaining crypto they had to actual cold wallets, so offsite storage. And again, it doesn't exclude the mystery regarding this hack whatsoever. When it came to this hack, all right, another actual piece of news actually ended up coming out, this time from Reuters, where they were straight up talking about the fact that when it came to FTX, there was backdoor systems so that basically they could hide transactions, allegedly. So here you can see that Bankman Freed confirmed to Reuters that the meeting took place. Bankman Freed showed several spreadsheets to the heads of the company's regulatory and legal teams that revealed FTX had moved around $10 billion in client funds from FTX to Alameda. Alameda Research was the other actual company that was supposed to be a separate entity, but it was one of the companies that led to the downfall of FTX as a whole. The two people said the spreadsheets displayed how much money FTX loaned to Alameda and what it was used for, they said. The document showed that between $1 to $2 billion of these funds were not accounted for among Alameda's assets, the sources said. The spreadsheet did not indicate where this money was moved, and the sources said they did not know what became of it. In a subsequent examination, FTX legal and finance teams also learned that Bankman Freed implemented what the two people described as a backdoor in FTX's bookkeeping system, which was written using bespoke software. They said the backdoor allowed Bankman Freed to execute commands that could alter the company's financial records without alerting other people, including external auditors. This setup meant that the movement of the $10 billion in funds to Alameda did not trigger internal compliance or accounting red flags at FTX. In the text message to Reuters, Bankman Freed denied implementing a backdoor. So again, you've got FTX's legal and finance teams learning that there's a backdoor, and then Bankman Freed straight up saying that there is no backdoor. I think what's really wild about the Bankman Freed story is that, like, even since then, there's been more articles that have also come out. This one talking about how literally their entire organization, FTX, was literally run by a bunch of kids who were basically having sex with one another all the time, romantically interested, completely unprofessional behavior. Many are former co-workers from quantitative trading firm Jane Street, others he met at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and his alma mater. All 10 are, or used to be, paired up in romantic relationships with each other. This includes Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison, whose firm played a central role in the company's collapse, and who at times has dated Bankman Freed, according to people familiar with the matter. The place is full of conflicts, of interest, nepotism, and lack of oversight. Again, when you have literal kids, man-children, running multiple billions of dollars, and then people suddenly have a surprise Pikachu face when the House of Cards comes crashing down, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I saw this nuclear bomb setting off millions of miles away, okay? How nobody else could see it surprises me. Now, while you have actual governmental agencies, like you've got the government of California, the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, deciding to announce their investigation into the asset platform FTX, I think a fair amount of time has actually passed over here, and these agencies better get onto it quick. Because what comes next is some of the shadiest fucking behavior I've seen, and I've saved this best for last. Now, you might know that celebrities get involved with talking about FTX. For instance, you've got Tom Brady, okay? Hey, an FTX official, let's make a trade. Let's get this guy a Bitcoin. So I decided, why not do the extra bit of due diligence? Let's check up if Tom Brady actually tweeted this. Now, this is on actual ABC News. All right, let me actually see this. Hey, FTX official, let's make a trade. Of course, if you actually look at it, dun, 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 this page doesn't exist. Wait, what? What's going on here, buddy? Wait a minute, let me click on this guy. Oh, the tweet was deleted? Wait just a goddamn minute. You know, something that I love about social media is that you can actually look at some of these tweets. So, for instance, Tom Brady has been on a goddamn deleting spree. 46 in one day? Tom, what are you doing there? Are those FTX tweets that are being removed? Maybe they're just cringe. I don't know. I can't tell the difference. But of course, forget Tom Brady for a second, okay? Dumbass fucking celebrity shilling some crypto token. I'm sure some regulatory agency will deal with that down the road. Let's go back to Sam Bankman-Freed, all right, who decided to actually delete a whole crap ton of tweets. Now, a couple nights ago, all right, throughout all this chaos, he decided to tweet out cryptic shit like, what? Hi all, I filed FTX, FTX US, and Alameda for voluntary Chapter 11 proceedings in the US. Now, when we saw this, we were like, yo, what's going on? Is the guy hacked? How could somebody be roasted this hard internationally and decide to show back up on the internet? Well, the reason for some of these cryptic-ass tweets, if you look at them, right, and this is not just one, he has made random tweets where he has absolutely, like, just revealed one letter per word. And why is Bankman Freed doing this? Well, if you look at Bankman Freed's Twitter stats, you can actually see that Bankman Freed is still deleting crap tons of tweets. So what's actually happening over here? Well, Bankman Freed, ladies and gentlemen, is, from what it seems to be, and I'm not saying that Bankman Freed is doing this, all right, from how it appears to look, given the data on social media, it appears that this guy is deleting tweets while at the same time making tweets so that they can be offset in the actual data. However, it's not working because we can still see the actual negatives. Again, I just want to state for the record, this kind of sounds like somebody is trying to delete the past, hide some goddamn evidence. And I want to just straight up say, for the record, that might not be the case. But if it is, SBF, my brother in Christ, all right, my friend, you do understand how servers work, right? You do understand that a lot of this data retains on the server for months after deletion. Now that he's being investigated, and let me tell you, this man will be made an example of by federal agencies, by the government themselves. Mostly because this is, it's not the fact that, like, the whole crypto thing is it's not like this person's thing is shady to begin with. It's that he's lost a lot of money for a lot of people that actually matter, all right? Like, a lot of people put tons of money, millions, billions of dollars, and it's those people, all right, that are really pissed. And it's those people that have the connections to some of the higher up government organizations and individuals that can cause some actual hammers to fall down on this individual. Again, what SBF doesn't know is when you're deleting things, they can still be retained. People are still going to subpoena this information. And once that information gets subpoenaed, we might have a much more clearer display on what was actually going on with this individual, FTX, Alameda, and everybody involved in the situation. I think we have to wait for this investigation to clear. This is like as big as I would say something like SolarWinds. This is something that can cause some severe death knells for crypto all around. And that's not FUD. That's not FUD. The problem with SBF is SBF was the closest. This was like the golden poster boy for crypto guys, for people who were even the most critical of crypto around the world. People jumped into this, they listened to the guy, and when you find out the one guy you listened to was an actual full-on scumbag, it makes regulating this stuff even tougher. There's going to be government agencies that want to turn up the regulations to 11, and it's going to cause a lot of ripples through the world of crypto. What we have learned is in this week alone, this is one of the biggest falls for crypto and crypto-related news and crypto-related like schemes ever around the world. When you have one of the biggest exchanges falling, it's one thing. But when you have one of the biggest exchanges falling and then getting hacked and all of this shenanigans coming out, that's a story that's going to take a while to brew up. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the biggest fall for graces for crypto, and honestly, SBF. If the conspiracy theories are true in this case, you need to see some goddamn jail time. And we're talking not just like a few years. This motherfucker should be spending life in prison. given how bad, given the nature and given the scale of this crypto stuff at the end. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot to cover. Honestly, the situation is so fluid right now. Throughout the entire time filming, I was honestly wondering how much things that I must have missed, and honestly how many things have probably happened just in the last like 15-20 minutes anyways, because things just keep happening all the time with this FTX hack. So ladies and gentlemen, if something else happens, I'm going to make a more consolidated video, and I'm going to keep making videos if more juicy stuff keeps coming out. But for now, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.